Right, Andrei, you're in, aren't you? So I will
I
pass.
am.
Oh, you've unmuted yourself. I was wondering whether, do you want to share your screen? Because you're going to be kicking off if Stuart unshares his. I've just closed the breakout room, so we give them 1 minute to come back.
Yeah, perfect. And you can see the screen there.
Don't need me to chair this bit, or can you manage?
No, it's all good.
All right, cool.
So I think Ollie will chair though until lunchtime after your talk, just because whilst we get used to the settings in Zoom.
All right, okay. I thought I was chairing in the morning, but that's fine.
You can chair if you want, Andrei. I'm not precious.
It's just because we have had a meeting about how we're going to manage questions and things. So
okay, no, go for it. That's perfect.
Do you want a warning when you get close to the end, or are you going to be all right to manage time?
No. This is literally just introductory to Becca. This was like a chairing.
Right, I'll leave you to it then.
right.
Okay, well, welcome everybody to the DataSHIELD Conference 2021. We have organised this on behalf of the DataSHIELD Advisory Board, or the DataSHIELD Advisory Board has organised this on behalf of the community. And we've got a great programme, I hope, lined up for you over the next couple of days. So just a couple of things to start off with. The hashtag for the conference is DataSHIELD 2021. If you want to post your tweets or post it on other social media or whatever, that's the thing that can identify it. And we would be very grateful if people are enthusiastic about that. Also, the conference is being recorded and the video will be made available afterwards on the DataSHIELD channel on youtube.com. And of course, there's the DataSHIELD.org website that you can refer to for news about this conference and about future events and about other information about DataSHIELD. So just a little brief overview. This is a great conference. There are 130 people registered. We're very, very encouraged by the huge turnout to this conference, and it's up massively from previous years. I think a couple of years ago when we had the last conference and workshop, there were about 80 people registered. So it's really wonderful to see how the DataSHIELD community is growing. Just a little bit of information about you all. This is a spread, a tile that shows the wide variety of organizations that people come from. And you can see that there are many, many different organizations. So it's great to see such broad representation. Similarly, in terms of experience, the important thing to take away from this pie chart is that the green sector on the right-hand side is the people that are new to DataSHIELD, whereas the section on the left is the people who have previous experience and are already working with DataSHIELD. So it's really wonderful to see lots of people enthusiastic about the possibilities and how DataSHIELD might be used. And then finally, just a little bit of the geographical spread of the participants who are registered. We can see that we've got participants from a large proportion of the world, very concentrated in Europe, but also in Africa, in India, in North America, and in Australia. And so we're really pleased about how DataSHIELD is being picked up and noticed and ideally used by people throughout the world to help with their research and their investigations and data analysis. So we have a couple of big keynote talks. The first one is today, and it's on ethico-legal aspects of federated analysis in and outside of Europe. And that's by Professor Mette Hartlev from the University of Copenhagen. And tomorrow we have another keynote talk from the Miracum Consortium on the use of DataSHIELD and machine learning in biomedical research. And that's going to be given by Professor Harold Binder from the University of Freiburg in Germany. A couple of house rules. As you may have experienced already, there are some breakout rooms that we're creating at the breaks and the lunch times so that people can go off and discuss and chat in smaller groups. And the links for those are in the footer bar of the Zoom software, and you can self-assign yourselves to different groups. And so you can find people that you might be interested in talking to and have a little conversation about various things. During the talks, everyone will be muted. This is just so as not to disturb the speakers, and speakers will be kept quite strictly to time. And this is in order to allow you to ask questions and for the speakers to have time to answer the questions as well. And if you want to ask a question, please raise your hand during the question and answer sessions. and one of the moderators will unmute you. And you can, of course, also post your questions in the chat session. So that's it. I'm going to hand over now to Becca, who's going to give us a little bit about the history and talk to us about DataSHIELD. I hope everybody enjoys the conference. Please do participate. This is very much our conference. It's not a conference that organised for you. It's a conference where we would very much like you to participate as well. So I do hope you enjoy it and look forward to seeing you soon.
Thank you, Andrei. I will attempt to share my screen now. Let's see. So. Right. So can everyone see my screen and also hear me? Yep. Okay, cool. When I was looking at the delegate list, such as what Andrei said from some of the questions that were answered about delegates registering, it became apparent that over half the people registered were unfamiliar with DataSHIELD or were new to DataSHIELD. And so I thought I'd just start off the day by giving a really brief overview, I guess, the story of DataSHIELD or the history of DataSHIELD, which might be just an interesting way to start the conference off. So much like the Marvel Cinematic Universe, DataSHIELD has had several phases of development and lots of spin-out activity and offshoot activity by different, I guess, players in the DataSHIELD universe. And I guess the first phase was started back in 2009, and this is where we started building the foundations of what has become the DataSHIELD software and infrastructure. So back in 2009, there was a global consortium called P3G that was led by McGill University. And that consortium was focused on building shared infrastructure and tools for the genomics community. And one of the particular areas of interest for development was around trying to find a way to answer the challenge of analysing horizontally partitioned data. Horizontally partitioned data is when data is split across multiple locations or studies, but that data, each study has the same variables, but on different individuals. And basically, it was trying to come up with, is there another way? Is there a technical way or another way that this analysis could be approached? A meeting as part of the P3G consortium led to the writing of a hypothesis paper that outlined what is the concept of DataSHIELD for both individual level meta-analysis and study level meta-analysis. And this is that paper. Following that, in 2011, there was EU Framework 7 funding for the BioShare Consortium, and that project was aiming to develop tools, again, shared collaborative tools, specifically for data harmonization and to enable federated analysis across European biobanks and cohort studies for research purposes. And basically during this period, this is when all the statistical methodology and infrastructure design was carried out. And there were a series of, I guess, statistical proof papers that were published to prove that the methods underpinning DataSHIELD do actually work. And I went trawling through the Git history of the project, and I found the birth date of the software, which is the 25th of April 2013. There's a commit here from a release here from Yannick that was DataSHIELD version 1. That happened during the BioShare project in 2013. And then in that same year, there were a number of papers, again, sort of like published proofs around the statistical methodology, ethics, and also how DataSHIELD aligned with the UK Data Protection Act. What followed over the next couple of years was basically a lot of user training and support. We set up one-to-one workshops for training in the BioShare Consortium, who were essentially the guinea pigs, I guess, during this development phase of DataSHIELD. And back then, I guess R wasn't so commonly used as a analytical language in amongst people. A lot of people were using things like Stata to do data analysis and other sort of softwares. And so the training was not only how to use data, it was how to learn how to use R, understand how DataSHIELD is working, and then also learn how to do analysis in DataSHIELD. And as a result of these workshops, there was lots of feedback from the users that fed back into the development of new functionality and adaptations to DataSHIELD for the user experience. And so from the beginning, DataSHIELD has always followed a co-design methodology. You know, from the people that are going to be using it, as all the stakeholders that are either deploying DataSHIELD or using DataSHIELD, and also involving members of the public and research participants whose data is being analysed through DataSHIELD. During this time period, we also prototyped what we call vertical DataSHIELD, which is a methodology or solution to the, I guess, a data, when data is vertically partitioned, which is kind of like a data linkage setting. So in 2014, the proof of concept was published, and I would say that this was a testament to team science, because the range of people and institutes globally that helped write this paper and brought the proof of concept to fruition covered across areas such as computer science, epidemiology, ethics, law, social science, statistics, and so it really does show that from the very beginning, it was a collaborative and interdisciplinary effort. Alongside the development of DataSHIELD, I mentioned that we had the users and the analysts feeding back into the project. We also did lots of stakeholder engagement, much more broadly. And from the DataSHIELD perspective, that a lot of that work was led by Professor Madeline Murtaugh. And we engaged with data controllers, data analysts, other people within the consortium. And famously, we also engaged with members of the public during things like our shopping centre, in places such as shopping centres, to try and engage them with issues relating to data privacy and understanding the things that how we use their data in research. So I would say that phase 2 started in about 2015, and this is when BioShare was coming to an end, and we started looking outward beyond the one project that we were, the one consortium that was using DataSHIELD, and trying to see whether DataSHIELD would be useful in other sorts of settings. And we started exploring integration of DataSHIELD with other clinical softwares and other sort of infrastructures that were being used in the UK. And in 2016, we started to expand what was known as the core DataSHIELD development team under Professor Burton. We really wanted to start developing the team beyond as I said, the data knowledge group and the Aviva groups, who were I guess the initiators of the project. And this was the first developer workshop we held at the University of Bristol, and I will point out a few people. There's Dimitri Avram, who's there, who's probably quite well known, who supports the statistical methodology in DataSHIELD, and also Tom Bishop there as well, from Cambridge, joined us, and he's been really helpful in supporting deployment of DataSHIELD in other consortia. We also started to look at the other approaches that were being used to solve this data access analysis problem. And we hosted an international workshop at the University of Bristol, and it included delegates from Europe, China, Asia, and Australia, sorry, and New Zealand. And what we did at this workshop was we shared the best practice and limitations from all of the collective approaches that our delegates were using. And at the time, certainly in the UK and in Europe, we had a very sort of like quickly changing landscape in terms of data governance, but also with I guess the introduction of GDPR as well. And at this workshop, we basically worked together to identify the challenges and the barriers facing our infrastructure projects for access and analysis of sensitive data, and trying to find solutions to address these. And basically the outputs from that workshop really helped focus the next phase of development for DataSHIELD. The other thing that we did during this phase 2 time period was we did take a hiatus from development, and we were busy obviously writing up all our publications. So we were supporting users and new adopters who were coming to us on a monthly basis. We were getting consortia trying to engage with us and requesting support for initiating DataSHIELD in their consortia. And it became apparent very quickly that the user demand for either support in adoption or for new functionality in DataSHIELD was kind of like outstripping our time and funding at that moment. And so we started scaling up support to be more sustainable. And a lot of this was under advisory comments from the UK Software Sustainability Institute, who helped really establish our DataSHIELD community, I suppose. So we set up the website, sorted out communications, and we finalized a lot of documentation and also uploaded a lot of training materials to our wiki, which I think you will hear about later on in the conference, as well as training events and things that we would actually film and put onto YouTube as well. During this phase, we also rapid prototyped a lot of projects that were sitting outside of the, I guess, epidemiological domain. We were approached by lots of different organizations, I suppose, and partnered with different organizations to see whether, to scope whether DataSHIELD could be used with, for example, digitized text, and that was a project with the British Library. And also we had a project with the academic publisher F1000 Research to scope whether or not DataSHIELD could be used for post-publication access analysis of data from their publications. And obviously we had a lot of grant applications that we wrote with wide and varied partners who were, again, not from the epidemiological community, including things like the British Geological Survey, who were interested in land use and land contamination data. The UK Data Service were partnered with us on a number of grants. We partnered with vets, farms and food suppliers in the UK on another grant. And as I said, we were approached by several cohort consortia and also disease registries regarding supporting their applications for using DataSHIELD. So phase 3, I would say, is the phase that we are currently in, and I've called it Building Critical Mass, which is a nod to a talk that Tom Bishop gave at the 2018 DataSHIELD workshop. It also is in reference to this slide of his, which I absolutely love. So Tom described up until the 2018 workshop, I guess DataSHIELD was a bit like pushing a rock up a hill. Not many people had heard about it. The consortia that had been using it hadn't yet published their results. And so there was a lot of effort on our part to explain to adopters how DataSHIELD works and working with them through data governance and project governance side of things in their consortia to essentially deploy DataSHIELD in a way that was appropriate for their projects. Come 2018, when we organised that workshop, after the workshop was advertised, we started getting responses to the DataSHIELD email from loads of people all over the world who we didn't know were using DataSHIELD and who wanted to attend our workshop. And so that was a really exciting time to see people that we had no idea who were using DataSHIELD were attending and wanted to attend and present what they had been doing. And that is also true for this conference. We've had a lot of abstracts submitted from projects that we weren't aware were using DataSHIELD, and so we're going to hear about those later on in the programme. And so I'd say from 2018 we really have been at the top of this, I guess, hill, and we have got critical mass, and we are now achieving a snowball effect, and studies are now joining because they have heard other studies using it, consortia are joining because they know other consortia that have used DataSHIELD, and so on and so forth. So in this phase 3 of DataSHIELD, we have also been successful across the community in attracting a large amount of funding that has helped to, I guess, also move developments along. So the first is the You Can Connect consortium, and the second is the Athlete Consortium, and the third is the Miracle Consortium. And you'll be hearing from all of these consortia over the next 2 days about the projects and the developments and the applications of DataSHIELD within those. But what these 3, I guess, major tranches of funding have allowed to happen is that we have really established a data community. We have got developers and adopters and deployers of DataSHIELD beyond just that original starting team. We've got cohorts all over the world using DataSHIELD, which has allowed us to do many more releases of DataSHIELD. We're currently on DataSHIELD version 6, which we'll hear about tomorrow as well. It's allowed integration work between different infrastructures that are used in the domain, and expanded functionality as well. And there's lots of new applications of DataSHIELD. So I'm just going to leave it on this final slide, which I guess it's my really bad bar graph of the users or the attendees, sorry, at our previous workshop. So this is, I just wanted to really highlight that this is where we started. This is how it started in DataSHIELD. And this is how it's going, basically. So I look forward to hearing from what the community has been doing, and I will stop talking now and pass over back to Andrei. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Becca. That was really fantastic, and it's very interesting to hear how much DataSHIELD has progressed over the last number of years. Does anyone have any questions? I'm not sure if there's any questions. So in that case, I think we will move along to the next speaker, who is Professor Mette Hartlev from the University of Copenhagen. And she has a long history in academic research of law and practice as a lawyer, and understanding of the kind of health science implications of data and so on. And so we're very much looking forward to hearing her talk on the ethico-legal aspects of federated analysis in and outside of Europe. So Mette, are you there, and are you able to share your screen?
So I think Mette will be MQH588. That's my guess at the username. So let me
can you make Mette a co-host, please, because she can't share her screen until that's happened. Thank you.
Yeah, and I think Elaine's going to have to do that as the host.
Elaine, her username is MQH588.
Oh, okay.
Oh no, that's not her. Sorry. It's
I have made Morten.
Yes. Oh, okay.
Post.
Right.
Yeah.
Can someone just unmute her then, please?
Okay, now I'm unmuted. And so I don't know why it suddenly put my husband's name. It's yeah, strange things happen. I'll try to share my screen. So let's see how it works.
So we've got 50 minutes for this talk and some questions at the end. So if people want to put questions in the chat as we go throughout the talk, we can come back to them later, and then at the end we can people can ask questions.
Yeah. So how many minutes did you say, Ollie? Was it 30 minutes or 5?
50.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.